those lovely words. Ladies and gentlemen, it is late tonight and it is a 10 to 12 minute speech. Are you going to be with me tonight?
Yes.
Yes. Because tonight I am sharing with you a very special speech that was delivered by one of my heroes. It was delivered by Mother Teresa in 1979 when she won the Nobel Prize for Peace. She delivered this in Norway. I have edited it and abridged it because the original version is 19 minutes and I'm here to share it with you. Just a couple of clarifications. You will hear in the speech the word home mentioned several times, and it can mean different things depending on the context. Home is where you live, where you will go home tonight to. But home is also a shelter where the sick, the dying, the elderly, the unwanted go to. So let me begin this speech called Love Begins at Home. Let us be grateful for this gift of peace that reminds us that we have been created to live that peace. We have been created to love and be loved. The hungry one, the homeless one, the sick one, the unwanted one. And we have so many opportunities to love. I never forget visiting an old people's home where the elderly had everything they could possibly need. And yet, not one of them was smiling. In fact, they were all staring at the door. And I turned to the person in charge and I asked, "How is that?" She replied, "It's the same every day. They hope that their son or their daughter will remember them and will come to visit them. And it is through that door that they will come." These parents of sons and daughters were the forgotten ones. And this is where the opportunity to love comes. Maybe in our own family we have somebody who's feeling lonely, who's feeling sick, who's feeling worried. Are we there? Are we there to accept them? I was surprised to see so many young boys and girls in the West who had given in to drugs. And I tried to find out why. And the answer was, because there was no one in the family to accept them. Father and mother are so busy they have no time, and the child resorts to the streets and gets involved in the wrong things. I found this poverty in the West so much more difficult than any other poverty in any other part of the world. When I pick up a hungry person from the street and I give him a plate of rice and some bread, I have satisfied him. I have removed that hunger. But a person that is shut out, that feels unwanted, unloved, that poverty hurts so much more. And that I find very difficult. Our sisters are working amongst those types of people here in the West. And we cannot do it without you. We need you too. You must come to know the poor. Maybe people in the West have the material things they need, but I think that if we all look into our own homes, we will realize how difficult it is sometimes to smile at each other. And we will realize how that smile is the beginning of love. And I want you to find the poor here, right in your own home first, and begin love there. And find out who your next door neighbour is. Do you know who they are? I had the most extraordinary experience with a Hindu family who had 8 children. A gentleman came to me and said, "Mother Teresa, there is a family with 8 children who have not eaten for days. Do something." So immediately I took a bowl of cooked rice and went to the family. And I saw the children. Their eyes were shining with hunger. I don't know if you've ever seen hunger, but I've seen it often. The mother took the bowl and divided some of the rice between the children. Then she took the bowl with the rest of the rice and she went out. After a while, she came back with a bowl empty. And I asked her, "Where did you go? What did you do?" And she gave me a very simple answer. They too are hungry. What struck me most was that she knew, and she knew who they were, a Muslim family. I didn't bring more rice that evening because I wanted them to enjoy the joy of sharing. And you see, that is where love begins. At home, there is so much suffering, so much hatred, so much misery. Love begins at home, and it is not how much we do, but how much love we put in the action that we do. Some time ago in Calcutta, we had great difficulty in getting sugar. And I don't know how word got round, but it did. And a little boy of 4 years old, a Hindu boy, went home and told his parents, "I will give my sugar to Mother Teresa and her children. I will not eat for 3 days." And after 3 days, his father and mother brought him to our home. I'd never met him before, and this little one could scarcely pronounce my name. But he knew exactly what he had come to do. He knew that he wanted to share his love. The other day, I received $15 from a man who had been on his back for 20 years. And the only part of his body that he could move was his right hand. And the only companion that he had was smoking. And yet, he said to me, "I did not smoke for 1 week, and I saved this money for you." It must have been a terrible sacrifice for him. But see how beautiful, how he shared. And with that money, I brought bread and I gave to those who are hungry. There was joy on both sides. He was giving and the poor were receiving. This is something that you and I can do. It is a gift from God to be able to share our love with others. I want you to know that I'm very grateful for what I have received. With this prize that I have received as a prize of peace, I'm going to try and make a home for many people that have no home. Because I believe that love begins at home. And if we can create a home for the poor, I think that there will be much more love, and we can spread that love. And we will be able, through this love, to bring in our own family first, in our own country, and then in the world. I think at this point it would be beautiful to remember the words of St. Francis of Assisi. Where there is hatred, may I bring love. Where there is wrong, may I bring the spirit of forgiveness. Where there is doubt, may I bring faith. Where there is despair, may I bring hope. Where there are shadows, may I bring light. Where there is sadness, may I bring joy. May I seek to comfort rather than to be comforted. To understand rather than to be understood. To love rather than to be loved. For it is by forgetting self that one finds. And so, let us always meet each other with a smile. For the smile is the beginning of love. And that is an abridged version of the speech, Love Begins at Home.